Babe, we're doing the intro right now. I know it takes so long. Takes so long. I love you.
No, he doesn't.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Violent Cinema Review, and I'm Christian.
And I'm bound.
And I'm Goblin.
Today we're going to be reviewing Suffer Little
Daughter.
by Juval Marlon. A good friend of mine. Check out the Severed Cinema article. It is a brand new film from Juval that is coming out through Tarnished Vision Films. Jacob Green, another friend of the channel. You could still pre-order it and still buy it on delay right now because the discs were a little messed up. It's worth it. I mean, the shit that Jacob has in Tarnished Vision. Check out Vex and Throne too. I mean, his releases, like just what they sound like, what they come with is insane. It sounds like you're paying a good price for what you're getting. So Suffer Little Daughter is about a father-daughter couple, and the mother dies, and it's about them reuniting under the mother's last wish because they have a tumultuous relationship, and them spending some time in the countryside while this random hiker that needed a place to stay, they take in, and shit gets fucked. I liked it quite a lot. I loved the dialogue in it. I was actually more enthralled with the beginning than I was the end. The end is definitely the most brutal part of it, with some shit that made me cringe quite a bit. I know me and Chris agree on that standpoint. The father, he's a psychologist with a weird relationship where he's studying men's sexual orientation and how it has an effect on society and on women. And he makes this whole point. He says the point is that one's own satisfaction is so important that the suffering of the other person is accepted. And he was bringing up an example of a porno where they're fucking on a table and the table collapses and the woman is like obviously hurt, and the man waits like 2 seconds before brutally ramming his cock back into her and finishing. And it's basically that on existential level. It's definitely a very slow film with some of Juval's noticeable traits. The ending, the brutal ending, obviously, and also some of the urine scenes are very close up. That's another one of Juval's specialties.
Oh
Boys,
no, I ripped off someone making Bloodlust Triple X. I don't think that's his fucking thing. I think he just people like shooting piss up close.
Yeah.
I think we are in a new age of independent cinema where what should definitely be a 30, maybe 40-minute long short is now a full length just to say you have one. And should they always be full length? Probably not. Should this one have been full length? Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
So it's a bit of a different type of movie than we usually do on the show. It isn't just, over the top splatter, violent gore. It's very much a character study. And the some of the dialogue is good, but there's a lot of scenes that run on way longer than they should, or that really have no effect on anything whatsoever other than to pad out time. And so with the dialogue, like within the first conversation with the dad and daughter, you know how it's going to end. You can see that coming from a mile away. And even though they do have these dialogue moments where you can see like the dad's manipulating the daughter or playing with her emotions or doing all that, it doesn't feel convincing.
yeah,
It sounds shitty, but like she doesn't feel traumatized enough for what she's, says she's been through, and he doesn't seem hateful enough, or even like he gives half of a piss in half the scenes to act any emotion whatsoever. So maybe that could be part of the story, is that
and
he's a
it's more of like a
psychopath who doesn't feel
self-indulgent.
anything. But like one minute he's like, "Oh, isn't the soup good?" And the next he's like, "You whore!" But like he just it doesn't feel natural at all. It just literally feels like, "All right, now you're angry at her. Ooh, be angry. All right." Like it feels like acting practice where they're like, "Oh, sour, smile, sour," so that fucking thing. It felt like, them try like, "All right, now be angry. All right, now you guys are friends. All right, now walk for 20 minutes. All right, now sit down and be angry again. Oh no, she fake tripped. Be mad. Now be sweet again." And I'm just like, "All right, guys, like let something happen."
see,
And
I don't know. I don't agree because I think a lot of the dialogue has to do with society and existentialism more than a character study per se. I wouldn't really call this a character study because he does more, like even in the shots like where they're just sitting outside and the time where all three of them are together, It
I
feels like a
laughed
more
so hard during that. It felt like a really bad fucking SoundCloud video where they're like the two people are sitting there and then the one dude's like in the background, like in the fucking weeds. And I was like, dude, is he gonna start like rapping or some shit? Because like it just felt so, it just cut randomly to it. I was like, is this a music video?
yeah. Yeah, but I think it's more existential than that. Like there's no a lot of the dialogue does not necessarily actually have to do with the characters. It has to do with the
The
themes of the movie.
relationship. Yeah.
No, the themes of the movie. And
Freud.
the relationship
The theme
aspect.
of the
Yeah.
movie is Freud.
Yeah, I definitely felt a huge case
Yeah,
study on it and anything. It was like basically a Freud case study.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I do want to ask, since we're talking about philosophy, but you said like you feel like the existentialism in it, which I didn't get that at all. So, other than like
Yeah.
him quoting, this or that, wherever, like, where did you get the existentialism from? Because for me, it didn't feel anything philosophical. It felt like a psychological character study of a broken
yeah, definitely more
relationship.
of a
Well,
psychology.
there's a whole like 15-20 minute long scene that's just about that.
That's
It
probably when I
would
fell asleep.
when there's fuck off. Just about that when they're sitting at the dinner table and he's explaining his work and how she's actually interested in it, but his work and the way he thinks about things is kind of why his relationship with his daughter is pretty fucked. And even though, to be honest, if you rewatch this movie or if you actually like super pay attention, a lot of what they're saying is actually pretty fucking accurate to how men think nowadays.
Oh, I
Uh,
know. There were parts when he was talking that I totally agreed, but I was like, you could have done this way
Yeah, and
better
I'm not
or more
saying like the
interesting.
dialogue
Or
clearly was bad. I just feel there was too much other stuff that made it where by the time the dialogue came out, you're already kind of zoned out of what the fuck was going on.
I just thought about it, but the lighthouse. You have these scenes of Robert Pattinson just kind of isolated doing his own thing, and then you have these strong scenes of just two characters interacting that tells the story. And the in-betweens in this made it so fucking boring that it was just kind of
See,
when the dialogue
You
scenes
definitely
and
could have
the
cut
quote
it.
unquote important parts happened, it kind of just didn't make it worth it. Because I was like, oh, like
It made
it
it
didn't feel
seem
as
like a
impactful.
Megan's missing type thing, not in the
w-
style or its content, but just in just like where it's just like them and you're following these characters for a while and they're kind of talking, but you're kind of just getting into trying to figure out the plot with it and understanding what's going like on with everything, and then you have it just all happen all at the end. Um, I don't know.
well, to be honest, I think Christian, you're in the minority of that because I knew where it was going, and so did Goblin. Like,
No, it was not. No, it's not like that. It's just more. I'm not saying like the plot in that regard. I'm just more meaning like just keeping you going with the dialogue and it's just like with your attentions and everything. I don't know.
That's what I felt too, is that like it was stagnant for so long, where like any person who knows how to put piece anything together, you have to, even if you're trying to tell a story, you have to put something in to keep the audience engaged. Where
Yeah.
like I feel like it really
I
like it
disagree.
probably would have
I
pulled me
don't
in.
think it
It
needs
probably
to
would have
be
pulled
like
me
that
in
at all.
more if like they shot the bird earlier, because leading up to that, it's only 55 minutes of them just sitting and talking, and there's not even like they could have had so many of these conversations where
Well,
they're just
Or
sitting there.
playing
If
with
they would
a
have gone,
still,
or
they could
playing
have
with a
gone fishing. They
grasshopper.
could have gone fishing and done it, and the conversation would have been much more interesting because it's kind of something's happening. But
Well, it's just like
anytime that
while
something
they're
does
doing it.
happen, they're just sitting there.
I
Yeah, so it's
Or
like
I
while
yeah,
you're talking, while you're doing things, like while you have
that
action, or
those were the
dialogue,
parts
it's
that,
like let's just sit down and then talk. I mean, you can talk while you're in the action of things.
but not when it's
Seems like
important, and that's the whole point. Like, I
there
don't
was
know.
no
I don't
dialogue in between, meaning that there was no like that's
there's
what.
no action beat. It's just
Yeah,
dialogue, nothing. Big
yeah,
I
ending,
don't know.
end.
yeah,
And it's
exactly.
I liked before the ending more than I liked the ending personally. I
the ending,
100%
I
did.
this is a point of contention because both of
The
you thought
ending
it
was
was really
brutal.
extreme. You guys thought it was
Oh yeah,
brutal, and
yeah.
like Chris was like I talked to Chris from Cyber Cinema, and he was like, "Oh, it was fucking crazy ending, so nasty." I don't know. Maybe I'm a psychopath, but like
I mean, well,
Which
it's not
I
the most
did
that
not give
extreme,
a
but it's
shit at
definitely in
that point.
comparison to the rest of the film.
I did not give a shit at that point, and like it happened, and I was like, "Wait, that was it?" Like I thought there was gonna be something that blew me away, and it literally just was, all right, that happened. Okay,
I
that's
mean,
that's
yeah.
pretty gnarly. Oh, that's the end. All
It's definitely
right.
kind of a deep dive into like his perversion, because that one thing when he's watching that film with the girl like sucking the gun and everything. It's just feel like everything's just self-indulgent.
That was the point of his study too, is that his study is just an excuse for him
To
to
abuse his
be
daughter.
okay with doing the fucked up shit that he is. And we see that when he is looking at that fucked up video, and then the other guy's looking at Renee Wisner's like death footage.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like,
It's like the duality of like
yeah,
real death versus porn, which would kind of
well,
be in a
No,
sentiment of
and
life.
that was
well,
good because it helped.
Death and
That
life.
helped keep the attention a little bit more.
yeah,
Like I want to like it. That's the bad thing, is like I want to like this movie, and I tried so fucking hard while watching it and I couldn't. And it's not that like I hate this movie. Like it's definitely no Megan or anything.
Yeah.
But it was just it happened. I watched it. It's an hour and 15.
it like kind of what Goblin said, it's the duality, but I think it's just the fact of being self-aware of something usually makes whatever you're doing worse, like addicts who are being self-aware that
Yeah,
they
you're
are
you're
addicts.
giving
And
yourself an
then
excuse.
yeah, you're giving yourself an out and saying like is saying you're aware like it's any better, which
Well,
actually makes it
I'll never
worse.
get
Makes it
clean, so why
worse.
would I ever stop
Okay,
using, you
fuck.
know?
Yeah. But yeah, it just makes it worse, not better. And I think that it's that whole point, because like even to the part at the end where he's fucking just watching this happen, like he's so emotionless, like you could tell that he's like there's a justification there. And it's more of like a commentary on society, because I mean anyone who's fucked up in the head who does horrible shit has some stupid fucking justification. I really enjoyed this movie. I've enjoyed all of Juval's movies I've seen so far. I know they didn't have much positive to say, but I actually do think the dialogue is good because it comes from two different perspectives. So also just based off your guys' like point of view on extreme films and stuff like this, like Solitude of the Tormentors, I know would be your guys' bag because that's just constant brutality, a lot less
That's not what I look
I
for
don't
though.
need constant brutality, but I just just being like pacing is can be important,
Yeah. Like
especially when you have
I
very
don't know. I thought the pacing was perfect in this.
you even know I want to make like existential and philosophical horror. So I'm totally fine with that,
Ye-
and like not being over the
Yeah.
top violent, but just this was like,
Well,
oh,
it doesn't even touch
oh,
on
felt like molasses.
existentialism. Yeah, it doesn't even touch on existentialism until after like 20 to 25 minutes of like just getting to know the characters and their
And by that
position
point, I
before
was
they
like,
do it.
when's this gonna end?
Yeah, and then
I
it
mean,
touches on
I definitely
existentialism.
like the female actress. Like, I mean, I think that she was probably the best out of it. She was
Yeah,
the
she had great
least,
tits.
well, she was no,
Really,
she was the least dry out of everyone. I feel like everyone just like their
the
tone
the
based
father was my
on the
favorite actually.
That's actually what I wanted to say though. When you're like, oh, when the father's sitting there emotionless at the end, I was like, wait, he was supposed to be emotionless? I thought he was just acting the same as he was the entire fucking movie.
yeah. And then I mean the other guys, he at least range had good range and things. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the father was
he
very
could definitely
dry.
do crazy.
Like, yeah, that's also the other thing, is like I didn't quite understand why she willingly like just had him over. It was like, oh, you're clearly this insane guy out in the fucking
Well,
woods. Come
well,
home with me.
no,
And
no,
with a
that's not
BB
what she
gun.
said. That's not what she said even close. She was uncomfortable with that entire situation,
Yeah.
and she didn't want to say no because she was scared. She even said it in the fucking dialogue just
See,
slightly.
that's
And
I do remember
she was hoping that once she brought her over, her
the
father would say
dad. Yeah.
fuck no and get out of here. Because she was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But and he kept being forceful. I was like, okay, you got to talk to my father, because she thought the father would be able to get this creepy fucking guy out of here.
I will say I do remember that is actually a scene I disassociated at, because I remember him walking like up to her in the woods and her being like, or her walking and him right behind her, and then her turning around and be like, oh, who are you? And then like I kind of like drifted away. And then next I noticed they were all in the house together, and I was like, wait, like how the fuck did that happen? But I
Yeah,
didn't rewind. So
yeah, that was an
Yeah, I mean,
extremely
even just
tense
like the
scene.
whole, I mean, it definitely bothered me the father just sitting there the whole time and being basically like no emotion when watching your daughter get raped and
it didn't bother me because characteristically it makes sense, but I'm just
That
like
was disturbing, yeah.
he's literally putting as much emotion in that scene as he
Right.
put into the rest of the whole fucking movie.
See, that whole point was like a detached from any like societal or like naturalistic emotion to me. The emotionless thing, like if he was like if he feigned some sort of like or some shit like that, nah, like
Not for that
that
end scene, but like when he's
no.
talking to her and he gets like when he gets angry at her and he's like yelling at her, or they have those disagreements, like he's literally, it just feels like he's giving just as much emotion being angry as he does when he's happy or when he's emotionless at the end.
His whole character was supposed to be ambivalent. And
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah, I mean, I
I
get
didn't feel any emotions. That was their disconnect from the relationship in the first place. It says that in the beginning too. Like there was
Yeah.
just no emotional connection between them because he's just emotionless. He's ambivalent. He's a complete psychopath, but he
Yeah.
has some excuse of like fucking psychology.
But even psychopaths know how to wear a mask, how know to fake their way through emotion. If he's manipulating her,
Not
he's going
very
to do it
well,
through emotion. He's not, you are a
very few
whore.
of
Now you
them
are my
do.
favorite daughter. Let's go for a walk. Oh, you whore. Why'd you fall down? Oh, no. Here, open. Oh, that's the one scene I did want to say that made me laugh my ass off too, is when she brings him dinner and like sets the beer down and he's like,
Yeah, now
oh,
I
I
could
guess
open
I'll
it.
open.
I could open it myself.
No, but the fact he did that, he's like, now I can open it myself. And he didn't open it. He just went, and then the next scene, it was open. I was like, you couldn't even buy a six pack in case you messed up the first shot. You'd have
yeah.
five more chances at it. No, you literally had to.
No, he
Oh,
cracked it.
don't accidentally open the. No, he did. He literally went tink.
No, literally, I pulled up that exact scene because I wanted to get that one piece of dialogue. He cracked it.
Oh, when I watched, I was like, did he literally just go ping on top of his can? And then the next scene, it was like actually open, like it cut and it was
No,
open. I was like,
no, he cracked it while it was open. Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I just laughed. I was like, you really couldn't get a six pack to fucking retake just in case. Like,
Yeah, no, I literally just watched that scene before we started recording
oh, we
because
have to save money. Get one tall boy.
No, because they had the
they
whole
go through
they
a
had a
lot of
whole
beer in
six
this.
pack. They had a whole six pack in the
That they had to make last the whole movie, so he only had to fake open them.
yeah.
No. But no, I don't know. Like there are things I did dig about it, but just the bad overshadows it.
Yeah,
I want to like it. Like that's the thing that I hate the most is I want to like it. I just didn't.
yeah. No, there's some parts that I thought were great. I like I said, the actress was great. I thought the motion that she did, the whole concept is I think I like the case study of it being kind of like a Freudian case study and and I get the whole father just being basically an emotionless, misogynist, self-indulgent piece of shit. But yeah, but it just didn't seem like they flew very well together in a lot of ways, and just like the dialogue of keeping your interest, and that's like my biggest gripe is just the
Pacing.
well, not even yeah. I mean, I guess that would go into the pacing, but it's just like because like the pacing when it's good is fine. It's just there's a lot of unnecessary shots that just kind of take you out because yeah, they don't really add to anything,
Like at least
They're
just breaking up
transition
it.
shots, they're just like it's just like unnecessary stuff. Like her just playing with a grasshopper and just like I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know, there's just a lot of
There's different, you could have had the exact
stuff.
same scene, but just shot it differently or did something slightly different to add to it.
Yeah, I
Like you
mean,
could have been like holding like the dead grasshopper or whatever, and it just hangs there, and it's like, okay, dead grasshopper, whatever, goes to the next. Or you could have been like, oh, dead grasshopper, and then like do like a cut of like it on the ground, or
yeah,
like just kind of
some of the cuts
mix
are
it
just
up a little. It's just
really
a lot of like,
weird.
all right, watch this. All right, now look at this over here. Like it's just a lot of like slow, stationary, just one shot things
Yeah,
where like I feel like
or they
just
didn't really
a
seem like
few
it
more
kind of went
cuts.
into that of just kind of like going into and yeah, and like you were saying before with the dialogue maybe going as an action shot a little bit. It doesn't have to be the whole time, but just having a little bit of like while they're walking, they're talking,
Instead
and
of
it's like
walking and then sit down, talk, and then walk
yeah,
again.
and then just
No.
because then it's just like it's adding to the time of the unnecessary time of them just sitting when they could be actioning, and then that takes out, and then you just saved yourself 10 minutes of runtime. I
Yeah.
don't
Getting
know.
the same point across, but not wasting people's time for it.
I
Yeah,
don't
or
know.
while they're sitting in the log, like while she's doing the grasshopper, they could have been having a conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
All I gotta say though, this is definitely my favorite review we've done so far.
Mhm.
Yeah. No shit.
You like
Like,
feeling like an outsider?
no, I like dialogue because like I like that it's a completely different sense of point of views. Because I mean,
Like I'm in
even
the
if
middle, and
even
you're really about it, and Goblin's just kind of like, nah, fuck this.
which is great. I actually
It's
like
weird.
that.
I'm not, nah, fuck this, but as I talk, it sounds like that. But it's like I want to like this fucking movie. Like I genuinely sat there and was like, all right, like trying to get myself into it, get into the characters, and I just fucking couldn't. But I
Yeah,
want to so badly. So I'm not like fuck this movie, but I'm probably not going to talk about it after this. I'm not going to tell my friends, hey, this is totally worth it. Sit through it. But I'm happy I sat through it. It was pretty decent, but I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
going to ever do it again.
that's fine. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it again.
I mean, it
I
definitely
had a
caught my
great time
attention.
with it.
The last bit definitely caught my attention. Even
I
with
will
Yeah.
say I was more focused on it than I was the last one we did. Like that one, I barely kept my attention. This one, even at its most boring, I was still watching. So there's that.
But yeah,
let's beat a lady tonight.
li-
That should have been the other name for it.
but yeah, I think that's good enough for all of us. I mean, I personally enjoyed it, and they have some problems with it, which are actually the things I liked the most about it, surprisingly. They liked the part of it I didn't like as much, which is weird. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely probably one of my favorite reviews we ever did since we are so different about
And
it.
to be fair, Bones does only watch the extended editions of The Lord of the Rings because he enjoys the more walking.
Twilight is way more his speed.
So final word, I wish I would have liked it more, but I didn't as much as I thought I would, and I wish I could have liked it more, but I just didn't. I'm excited to see more Juval's stuff in the future though, so that's cool.
They were a little differing than me. I love Juval's stuff. I think this is, like I said, my favorite review. I love having the actual dialogue back and forth with people that don't feel the same way. I personally do. And I mean, if anything, check it out for yourself. Let us know who's right and who's wrong in the comments. And yeah, pick it up, man. Support underground cinema.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah.
Patreon.
Well, that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, do our Patreon, do all that crazy shit. And yeah, I'm Bones.
I'm Goblin.
And I don't give a fuck.
But
Trying to talk shit, buddy. Trying to talk shit.
ah.
Trying to talk some shit, Bones. Bones, talk some shit.